I guess I'll never know the reason why I love you as I do. And that's the wonder of you. Alright, it's Elvis's birthday today. Well, it would have been. He has died. It would have been 80 years of age today. So, it's a bit late doing the video on Andy Cook. And it's one of the most played funeral songs, I do believe, The Wonder of You by Elvis. He hasn't died, although it does feel like it, because the season's over. The season has died. It's dramatic, but it's true. Andy Cluck, he's a chicken, but no more, potentially. He can't cluck no more for the Bantams. He can't cook. Andy cannot cook no more. It is devastating news. There's worse things. Worse things happen at sea, but always look on the bright side of life. There isn't any. There isn't. We've got to see what Stefan and Ryan can muster up this transfer window, because we've had promises of investment, we've had promises of promises, and they're turning out to be lies. Yes, Melon's in, and that video should be out tomorrow. A wise man once told me, any video's a good video, just get one out, and you know who you are. And that's what I've done. I'm just getting the video out. It's 2 days late. I think it might have came out yesterday. We woke up to the news anyway that Andy Cook's out for the season, not with an ACL, but presumably so. They didn't go into detail at the injury. And thoughts are with Andy Cook, because he's been so important for us. He's been the man, he's been the myth, he has been the legend. There'll be no more do-wah-diddies. There'll be no more Andy Cook, Andy Cook. There is no more of that. But is there still time left in the tank for him after his injury next season? He's out for the remainder of this season. Is it our season over? Can we survive without Andy Cook in terms of keeping on the playoff push? We got a point without him at Crewe, with Cavendish Stein up front on his own, played well. We got a win on Saturday against Grimsby, playing well, scored 3 goals without him. We've scored 7 goals in our last 9. Without Andy Cook scoring. I just had to reaffirm that with myself. He's 34. He will probably be 35 or just turning 35 when he comes back from his injury, if he comes back from it. Ibrahimovic, he did his ACL at Man United. He was 35 or 36 at the time. He went on to LA Galaxy, smashed the MLS, went back to AC Milan, and did very well over there as well. I'm not saying Andy Cook is like Andy Ibrahimovic, but the numbers he's been mustering up, the goals he's been scoring, the type of goals, he's not been blessed with pace ever. He's never been that type of player. He's a fox in the box, he's a poacher, he knows where the back of the net is, he knows how to score a goal, he can bully defenders. Yes, we've seen at times he can be quite light on his feet, he can bulldoze his way through defenders. Some of his best goals at Bradford City have been those type of goals. Wrexham, Gillingham, Mansfield, all the way from home, scoring goals that requires pace and quick feet. He's had 8 assists in the last 2 seasons. He's more than a big lump up front. He can link up. He has got a few skills in his locker. He's a professional footballer, and he's a bloody good one, and we've been so lucky to have him. The goals he's been scoring for us over this time, we've been so lucky to have him. I think some sections of the fans have maybe underappreciated him. He said that in his last interview, not before he died, but before he played. Not before he played. It was after the Port Vale game when he scored those 2 brilliant goals. The goal, that goal, the best goal he will ever score at Bradford City, potentially in his career. Could be the best goal I've ever seen at Valley Parade. It was unbelievable. It was sublime. It was outrageous. He had no right to score it, but he did score it because he's Andy Cook. That is just the type of person he is. He can hit it from 35 yards out. It can dip and bend and go into the back of the net. And Dolly Pope was, if you haven't seen, you won't know, but he was trying to stir it on social media. He was jealous because he couldn't do anything like that in his career. He was just a big lump. 2021, he came in on loan from Mansfield to keep us in the league, although we did get a bit of a playoff push going, but we're never going to materialise, especially when we give Truman and Sellers the full-time contracts. We'd then dipped off, but Andy Cook scored 8 goals in 21 games, I think it was, which got us over the line and kept us in League 2. And that's his only achievement in terms of actually at the club keeping us in League 2. And that's what he's done ever since he's been here. 21-22. Not a great season under Derek Adams. That season, he got, I am going to have to check that one, 12 in 39, which wasn't good, and that was the height of his criticism. He got a lot of criticism that season for his weight, for his physique, for his fitness, because he wasn't fit. He did have a couple of injuries, and he got wrote off by many fans, probably including myself. Maybe not as some went personal. You get idiots who go personal on people, which is, unacceptable and crossing the line. But, I'd never do that. But at the end of the day, some did. And Andy Cook's never forgot them, because he's always sort of mentioned that. But like I said in that last interview he did, before the injury at Port Vale, he said, Bradford City is my home. He was talking about how he feels the affection to the fans as well. But he did say how he feels disrespected and underappreciated at times, which is sad to hear. But from the majority of fans, like Jamie Rayner, echoed and was eager to get across to Andy Cook to make him realise the fan base love him, they adore him, they idolise him, because he is Sir Andrew Ellis Cook. And the reaction from the fans, this is later, so this isn't even the exaggerated response I would give when I first saw it, from when I basically knew we were going to be out until the end of the season. And I'm sure the comments will be filled with support and devastation as well, because that's all I've seen across the social media for Andy Cook, because of how big of a miss he's going to be. The fact that rival fans are laughing and are joking and are, revelling and are so happy that Andy Cook is out for this amount of time, it's because they know how big of a miss he's going to be for us, and that they can cash in on that opportunity. We can't drop the ball with that. But anyway, wherever I was, 21-22, yeah, he didn't have a good season. Criticism came. 22-23, people are saying maybe we should let him go. I think there were rumours he could go to Oldham or Carlisle. Basically, he was heading up north from, fans trying to stir rumours. They were never leaving. Although, in Mark Hughes' plans, certainly he was a backup to Verdane Oliver. Why would you bring in Verdane Oliver, who's so many, with the big rage he run, with the big hype that he came on? Andy Cook had to fight for his place. He won his place back. Rest is history. That season he scored 28 goals in how many games? 28 goals in 48 games. Unbelievable. Golden Boot, broke all the records, and that got him the legend status in itself. And then the next season, 23-24, again a poorer season for Andy Cook. Poorer. Still got 17 goals and 8 assists in 41 games. He did that with unsettled partners, unsettled systems. The support from the fan base was iffy throughout the season. There were protest talks. It wasn't a good atmosphere. It wasn't a good place to go. Valley Parade last season. Different managers, 3 different managers across the season. It wasn't a good season for Bradford City, and he still managed to get 17 goals, which is outstanding. 24-25, 12 goals in 22 games is unbelievable at this stage. He was going to surpass all the records that he's broken. He was going to beat Dean Windass in the next couple of games. You'd have banked him on it. He had 85 goals. He was the 5th top goal scorer in the club history. Dean Windass had 87. James Anson had 91. Franco Rook had 93. He was going to be the 2nd top goal scorer of all time. He was bound to be within the next couple of months. That injury set him back, and hopefully we get the Andy Cook just before the injury, that fit, lean, mean, that hungry, that determined, that warrior, that goal scoring machine Andy Cook that we get next season, if he is fit to go next season. And all our hopes and prayers and wishes and support goes out to Andy Cook, because it's going to be a very tough recovery mentally and physically for him. But he's a true legend of this club, and we've got to make sure we get over the line this season for him. It's got to be backs against the wall. It's got to be us against League Two, us against the world, and we've got to make sure we're fighting every game for Andy Cook, because what a failure this football club would have brought if we didn't have Andy Cook. We've had that question asked so many times. Where would we be without Andy Cook? I've got this from the Whitford Post, so go look for that article, because it was a great article on Andy Cook leaving. But since 22-23, July of that year, we have scored 196 goals as a football club. Andy Cook scored 65 of them. That is 40, and I can't remember how many assists. I think it was 16 assists. Anyway, he's been involved in 41% of the goals that we've scored, which is absolutely unbelievable from Andy Cook. But then, unbelievably, we've got the playoffs once. We've only finished in the playoffs once through all those goals. The strike partners we've had for Andy Cook: Lee Novak, Danny Rowe, it goes on. This is how bad they are. This is how bad all these strike partners we've had. Donaldson, and it gets worse, because those three, Novak, Rowe, Donaldson, ain't too bad, is it, for a start, and we were in a relegation battle then. Austin Samuels, Curtis Guthrie, Tom Elliott, Delfonso, Robinson, Angle, Lavery, Costello, Nevers I'd count. He did play up front a couple of games. Isa as well. I put Angle twice for some reason. Jake Young was a hot prospect player. Didn't cut it at City, and isn't doing it at Stevenage either. Oliver, Derbyshire, Harrop, Wright, Kavanagh, Smith, Sanderson. No goals from midfield or from the wings either, because we did play one up front a lot of that time with Andy Cook up front on his own, but he had no support. And if we only have one playoff and one, basically all he's done is keep us up, that's a disgrace from the football club. Now he brought in Mellon, which is a great signing, but he should have been coming on in alongside Andy Cook. I'll talk about that tomorrow, but it doesn't look like that was going to be the plan. We need to make sure we go all out to get up this season, just so Andy Cook can have that next to his name. He deserves to be in League One. He deserves more than this football club. But we've never given him that. We've failed Andy Cook. So whatever happens, we'll never forget those 2 goals at Port Vale, especially the first goal inside the 2 minutes, I think it was. Hartlepool in 22-23 had a great game there. Like I said, the goals against Gillingham and Mansfield. He had a couple of good games against Mansfield, obviously, it being his former club. Grimsby always scored against Grimsby. And Barrow, unfortunately, Barrow being the curtailment, perhaps, of Andy Cook at Bradford City. Scored an hat-trick against Newport last season. He's had so many more big moments as well. Scored against Hull, I'm pretty sure, in the Carabao Cup. We're never going to forget Andy Cook. He's a true legend. He's the man. He's the myth. He's the legend. But we'll never love a player again like him. Look how long it took us to find another player to love like Andy Cook. How many players can people of my age say that they've loved a football player like Andy Cook at Bradford City? There's not many. There's really not many. And it's an embarrassment for everyone else, but Andy Cook has produced. And we'll never see the like again. Like the video if you did. Subscribe if you're new. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Just hit 735 now. It's going up and up. Mainly thanks to James Pilkington. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But I'm sure James will. So thank you very much, James. And everyone who has subscribed and supported my channel, it is massively appreciated. Keep doing so. Like I say, it'd be great to. I suppose the aim is 1,000 before 2026, which sounds ridiculous to say, but 2026 will be next year. But that is quite crazy. But thank you very much for watching. Unfortunately, it's been a very depressing video because it's a depressing subject that our season's potentially over because our main man is out. But I'm sure he'll be back. Have a good one.